up, brother? How are you?
Good, good, good. All right.
I like your setup, man. You're awesome, man. I like this.
Oh yeah.
Super pro. I like to just wing it. Awesome.
What's up, hobby?
Can they see and hear us?
Yeah, they can hear us.
People can hear us too?
Yep, they can hear us.
Oh, hey guys, how are you? Cool. I didn't know
Ethan,
why.
what's up?
Cool.
Animal nerds, what's up?
Like it. I like the little guy too. Let's get it going here. What's the topic, Mr. Andre?
I sent you a few topics in the email. It's like you can just check those out.
Okay.
But the show's all about you, though. The show's all about you.
Uh-oh. Cool. Okay, that's good. Wow.
What's up, Tim? Happy Friday, everyone. I see a few of you out there. Don't be shy. Say hi.
Alright. Hey guys. This is fun. I like this. Man, I like this thing, man. I like this video. V-Mix. This is cool, man. I like this.
Yeah, check it out. It's pretty cool. You get better quality, too.
Yeah, it's really nice. I really like it. Do you only see that, or does that go into live chat? Like, on YouTube or whatever?
Which do I see what?
Like, if I type over here in the right-hand corner inside the comment section, does everyone see that?
Oh, no. You have to go onto YouTube to type in the chat.
Okay. Just wondered. I was just curious. Cool. You don't hear any echo or anything, right? We're all good?
We're all good.
Excellent. Okay.
So, have you seen the show before? I mean, in the beginning, I'll go over some news, and then in the middle, when I introduce you in.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I watched a few of them. Some of the guys I really like, I see a lot of really cool guys coming up that I really like, like Ryan and, some guys that I really like, I watch them. You have a good deal going, like it looks good, it's good.
So where's everyone from? Don't forget to type where you're from. Hobby, you still in Poland? Tampa, Florida in the house. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and skip the countdown. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and skip the countdown. And if you haven't yet, join my Discord. I'm going to be bringing in people live through my Discord soon. So join the Discord, seo.video/Discord. What's up, Greg?
Hey, time to get it started, no delay, let's work. Wanna see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre De Vera, steady dropping knowledge, over 15 years in the game, so he knows all about it. Master the art of SEO, you will be amazed. Time to get your brand off page to on page. Dropping knowledge, legendary for sure. Whether you're just getting started or self-employed entrepreneur. Yeah, let's go. Subscribe to the SEO video show. Hey.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the SEO Video Show, where SEO is alive and fun. My name is Paul Andre De Vera, aka Dre, and I curate SEO videos released within the past week. It's about 1-minute clips. My favorite part of the show is when I get to introduce my guest, and my guest this week is SEO consultant and educator Chris Palmer. Before we get started, I want to say hi to everyone in chat. I see Elton, Greg, Hobby, Ethan, Tim, Hobby again, Ethan, Animal Nerds. Welcome to the show. A special shout out to Sarah Atif for the kind words on LinkedIn. Thank you very much. Now let's play the contest. Remember, put I love SEO. I'm gonna on the chat or in the comments below, and I will pick 3 winners. Now let's go ahead, and this week I will pick 3 winners to IMG courses. As a matter of fact, my guest today has a course in IMG, so I will choose 3 of you guys now, and just first one to email me will win the prize. Saeed, email me now if you're there. Andrew Dillon, email me. Latanya, email me. All right. Now, let's get on with the show.
This is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. What is a black hat's SEO's favorite food? Spam.
Google updated the core web vitals and page experience FAQs. Google organized the questions into 3 sections: metrics and tooling, page experience and search, and AMP. So be sure to check it out with this with May around the corner. The link is in the description. This brings me to my tweet of the day, which is by
Ankit is asking if putting the date and the
which is by Christina Azarenko. What she found out is that when she was able to, by removing the Twitter embed from her page, she increased her speed by 10 seconds. So think twice before you use social embeds on your pages. Google Search Console released a quick video on a few common SEO questions. Let's listen in on a few.
month in URLs is okay, and will it affect my Google rankings? Well, having the date in a URL is fine. It doesn't affect crawling, indexing, or ranking of the page. A question from J. Lowe is, I heard that using CDNs to deliver images might be a problem for Google search since it's not on my server and Google doesn't support image canonicalization. Well, using CDNs for images is fine. It doesn't have to be on your server. Rahul's question is, what is the best way to appear in search if you have a global audience to target with a single domain? We don't have multiple physical addresses for local SEO, and we don't want to go for ccTLDs because of a resource crunch. It's fine to have a single domain. Many websites just have one version that's globally available.
Julie Adams shares 3 SEO must-dos before any SEO campaign this week on Matt Diggity's channel. Let's watch it.
First thing that you need to know, not all SERPs are worth the effort. Some are going to have a lot more organic opportunities than others, especially SERPs that have those extraneous features that you can't get into. Make sure you're always checking on mobile because it's going to be even worse on mobile than it is on desktop. When you're optimizing your metadata, so your titles and your descriptions, you want to make sure that you're optimizing for clicks as well as rankings. So don't go overboard with those clickbait tactics, but make sure that you're relevant and enticing. You can use dynamic date insertion to automatically change out the date, use numbers and brackets, and create intrigue with your description. And then you also want to take time to find opportunities to rank in snippets so that down the road you can get a ton more organic traffic once you actually are able to get those snippets.
Speaking of metadata, how important are meta descriptions? With this recent update, Ted and Lee share their findings on the SEO Fight Club.
What this reinforces is that this particular zone, much like the title tag, is an important zone. And they just made it more important in the current iteration of the update. So that's my read.
Yeah, and I know Google talked about on several occasions comparable fingerprints and using what a technology they developed that they call protocol buffers. And what they're essentially doing is creating a fingerprint that has nested data that they can query and analyze out of that fingerprint of your page. So imagine it as a dossier of basically the stats and description of your page, and they want to work with that compact dossier instead of your full page. And so the protocol buffer is that dossier, and one of the things that has been mentioned is going into that protocol buffer is the meta description.
Be sure to watch the full video to see what other ranking factors became more important in this recent Google update. On the Edge of the Web podcast, Erin talks about Rand's article on zero-click searches and feature snippets, which got a lot of attention this past week. Let's see what this article is about.
a new article that came out over at SparkToro by Rand Fishkin regarding the zero-click data and the zero-click debate that's going on amongst SEOs. So his article over there, in 2020, 2/3 of Google searches ended without a click. So a little bit of backstory here. In August 2019, 50% of all Google searches ended without a click to any web property in the results. That's the big asterisk right there. We'll define that in a second. Today, thanks to new data from SimilarWeb, they've got a much more substantive report or update to that analysis. From January to December of 2020, 64% of all searches on Google, desktop and mobile combined, ended in the search result without clicking to another property.
In my opinion, Google is going to do what they want to do, right? It's their website. This actually makes me more eager to optimize for snippets. And on the Income School channel, they identified featured snippets that you can easily take over. Let's listen in.
So let's say the query is, how much does a hot air balloon cost, right? But the article that the snippet came from was actually about how much does a hot air balloon ride cost. It's not directly on point to it, but it may have two sentences that say, by the way, a hot air balloon costs X, right? We call this cutting the line. It's where everybody else has written organic articles. Even though yours isn't directly on point, you cut the line. What do you guys say in the UK? Do you cut the queue? Do you short the queue? You short the queue. I don't know what you guys say. You're just going to have to tell me. We have a ton of people in the UK. So what we found is 28.9% of the time that there was Google grabbed a featured snippet from an article that was less on point than other articles that were the whole topic of the article was on point. Woo! That's pretty exciting, right? And incredibly exciting, right? Because now if we write in the correct way and we have multiple answer targets throughout our article, we can short the queue, or I don't know what you guys say. We can cut the line in front of everybody else.
Nice little nugget there. All right, do you know what the Google Smith algorithm is about? I didn't know much about it until I found this video this past week on the Perficient channel. Let's listen in.
So Smith is a proposed technique model for natural language processing by Google. It's a lot better at matching longer documents with each other and a lot better at quickly breaking down long texts and understanding how parts of a text relate to itself.
Yes, it's a massive jump forward in Google's language processing capabilities. So can you explain, Smith?
Well, I'm going to try and get into it while keeping this video entertaining and not too long, so let's see how we do. Smith stands for Siamese Multi-Depth Transformer-Based Hierarchical, and that's the Smith bit, encoder. And that's a real mouthful, but it makes sense if we break it down. It's Siamese in the sense of kind of two models. It has multiple depths. It's based on transformers like BERT, and it's hierarchical, so has different structures, basically. So let's talk about the kinds of problems that Smith is trying to solve. Semantic matching problems can be classified into 4 different categories based on the length of text, so if one is short or the other long, or vice versa, or if they're both short or both long. So the developers of the Smith model looked at the work that was being done and found when both texts are long, matching them requires a more thorough understanding of the semantic relationships, like matching patterns between fragments with a long distance between each other.
Right, and long documents contain internal structures like sections and passages as well as sentences. And when you're a person reading a page, the structure of that page is part of the overall meaning of the text. And the machine learning model has to take document structure information into account for better matching performance.
Okay, I think I need to watch that video again just to make sure I get the hang of what it really means. But okay, what SEO strategy is better than getting backlinks?
You can always think about, creating linkable assets. I talk about, product-led growth. You can make a product, those get links as well. You can make a calculator, those get links. You can have an amazing piece of content, those would definitely get links. You can buy a website too. But I'm telling you, when you have relationships, they might point you to someone and say, hey, by the way, you should buy this website. I know this guy's website, you can buy it, right? Or I know this amazing designer that can help you with this linkable asset. So that's what it is. Go for relationships over the links. Every single day I'm gonna go for that.
All right, well, if you can't build relationships, my guest today has a ton of ways you can get backlinks. This brings me to my favorite part of the show. Please be sure to ask questions during our conversation, as it's the best way for us to learn socially. Let me go ahead and get this set right up right here. All right.
Hailing from Pennsylvania, USA, he is an SEO and digital marketing specialist with over a decade of experience. He currently is the founder of Chris Palmer Marketing, which he co-founded with his wife and childhood friend. He constantly tests the algorithm to know firsthand his SEO tactics and techniques will bring results. He currently runs a Facebook group with close to 2,000 SEOs. He posts almost daily on his YouTube channel with close to 10,000 subscribers. He wants to be your favorite SEO. Please welcome the top GMB local SEO expert, Chris Palmer.
Yeah. I love it.
Chris,
That was amazing.
my man, how are you doing today?
Excellent. How about you?
Good. I'm doing really good, really good. You know, if you didn't know this, you were actually, I gave you a shout out on my very first episode, and it was because I played one of your videos, and it was on backlinks. It was it was the one I think you shared on, it was like called telegraph.ph. And it's,
Okay.
you can get a free, free backlink, and you did a video on it. And so I shared that. I was like, hey, I'm going to get Chris on the show one day, and here you are.
Yep. Great to be here. Thrilled.
All right. So, okay, my last video that I just played was talking about backlinks. And I was just saying that I get a lot of backlink strategies from you. I mean, what are some few places you think that you can get some instant backlinks?
Well, instant backlinks, they're primarily going to be scraped. I use a tool called Scrapebox for this type of activity, right? And I hate to say, well, hey, I'm scraping them. I put a bunch of them, about 800 of them, into like a training. But generally, I'm finding the free ones or the easy to grab ones utilizing a tool called Scrapebox.
So what is Scrapebox about? Like, for those that don't know about Scrapebox.
Well, they have a great name. It's the Swiss Army knife of SEO tools. So you can scrape by, scrape by footprints. You can find, if you find an asset that's easy to get a link on, like say PHP BB blogs or forums, you can set that as a footprint and go scrape as many as you could possibly find. And now I just made a list of all these types. So it's a great tool. And it's great for finding emails, addresses, phone numbers, contact details. It's the Swiss Army knife.
Wow.
It's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Knowledge bomb on that tool right there for those who are interested on using the Swiss Army knife of SEO. Scrapebox is the name. Okay, you know what, Chris? Let's rewind this. I want to take it back because we need to know, how did Chris get into SEO?
Chris got into SEO first and foremost by pretty much watching my dad dabbling in it, right? So that planted the seed. As time progressed, I started doing small little projects for myself, learning, working normal jobs. But to fast forward a lot, I was working for RCI. It's like a travel club. They do timeshares. And there was a group of 4 guys there that really, really liked me. So I was there for about 11 years. So during that time frame, they're showing me, well, what's pay-per-click? What's SEO? Oh, these are landing pages. So really, from the travel club and timeshare, 4 individuals really molded my skill set, and how they were doing it, and still to this day. So
so you actually, and then from there, so how'd you learn it then? That's when you got into it. So how'd you actually learn SEO?
Well, actually learning it was, I hate to even say kind of, but I started putting up listings on Fiverr and Upwork, and plus I had my own entities. But how I really learned it was I would get small projects doing, say, like a site audit utilizing a tool, and just implementing what I learned, just literally trying things out, and one step at a time. One, I call it head busting, like banging my head on the wall, one hit at a time.
Love it. I mean, okay, so was there any websites you were visiting? Oh, actually, you know what? I was reading about this about you. You were actually a moderator on Black Hat World, right? So, I mean, was that
for a short period of time?
Yeah. So was that one of the places that you've learned some stuff and some SEO tactics over there?
1,000,000%. So all the forums I've been on, Wicked Fire, when that was jumping, any forum you could possibly go to, Facebook groups, early on too, even a couple trainings from a few particular people. I picked up some stuff there. anything I could find really. And then it's just a matter of implementing it and trying these things out. So I was willing to, I'd read and then be like, oh, hey, if I extend my title tag extra characters, you could do that. Oh, really? Let's go try it. So, but that was with everything that I've picked up.
Got it.
Like, hey, let's go try.
So you said you actually got courses from few particular people. I'm curious, who are those few particular people?
Yeah, I hate to say something like that. But I don't mind. One of the very, very early first courses that I ever got was in 2000, maybe it was 12 or 13, and it was Nathan Gotch.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
So that was one of them. And then as years passed on, those 4 guys got the affiliate lab.
Oh.
Right. And then within there's a bunch of different trainings. I guess there was a bundle, and I ended up going through that too a couple of years later. So Diggity and Gotch were the only 2 that I ever, I saw it. And yeah.
Got it. Yeah, Gotch is actually going to be on in a couple weeks, so that's nice to hear that actually someone, we're learning from him all together. Okay, you talked about courses, and you actually created your own courses too, right? Like you have some courses out there. I've seen one in the IMG community. I mean, what other things do you teach online?
Yeah, that was my first, I didn't think it would, I never did it before. It was the first one I ever did. So it's a little jumbled. That's not my proudest, but it was my first. So I am proud of it. And I teach a plethora of things, but I like to break it down into one idea, one topic. So drive stacks, links, CTR, and then I'm going to keep going, indexing API, things like that. I just want to break it down into more very particular trainings.
Got it. Okay, so you said drive stacks. For those that don't understand what drive stacks, what is that? Give us a quick overview on the benefit of it and what the actual concept is about.
Yeah, I think it's changed over the years. For me, it's utilizing higher authoritative properties such as Google and all of Google's properties within Google Drive. And then aside from that, Yahoo has properties. Amazon allows you to utilize properties and a few others. But primarily now for me, it's utilized as a hub, a central hub to get anything that I collect that goes in the list. It's all connected inside of my drive stack. And then I'm going to push that to, say, a buffer site or a tier 2. And I'm going to utilize that stack really to power up everything else and to filter out the dirty links, to save money, really. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so for those that don't know what a tier 2 or buffer sites are, can you explain what those are?
Yeah, so usually this type of activity or these types of thoughts, buffer sites, tier 2, is going to come up when we're trying to save money, for me at least. So I need to put something in position there to filter out the cheaper links or stuff that I don't want to showcase to Google or have my competitors see. So I'm going to put a layer there that's pristine, great site, and then I'm going to send cheaper, lower quality links to that entity in order to pass power.
Interesting strategy there. Nice. Thanks for sharing that. Okay.
Sure.
So you actually mentioned CTR too, a course on CTR. What's up with CTR? What's your view on CTR?
Yeah, I mean, this is an evolving piece, but for me, where I'm going with it now is not utilizing untrusted traffic, right? Say like a MicroWorkers or a SERP Clicks or SERP Empire and this type of stuff. I'm not sure of this. I like it, but I'm not sure of it. Then I started playing with the actual phones. I bought 10 of them just to try that out. And that got me thinking, like, how do I scale this for my clients? So that's when I started playing with the emulators, and I was like, wait, this works. So CTR, not to get too far off, is the customer evolution. What does a customer do? I have a query, I have a question. I go to Google, I type it in. What do? They search down the list. They're looking for their answer. They find their answer. How do I end the session? I need to end my session because I'm a happy customer or a happy person. That's CTR.
Love it. So, man, 10 phones in front of you. So are you just on there searching things or I mean, like, do you have like some kind of system that you got set up?
Well, yeah, that was very early, just playing with it.
Okay.
For a pizza shop locally here. That was my first forte in it, like with the phones. But I've switched and moved on to cloud emulators, which I can then embed into HTML pages and have workers do it for me.
Oh, wait, this is way on top of my head. I mean, so it's a cloud. Okay, guys. I mean, this is a little advanced but CTR. So you feel that a CTR is a user ranking factor, right? Or is that
I feel that on page is a signal. That's one element. Off page is a signal. That's an element. And traffic and user signals, that's a signal. These are the three phases. We optimize for on page. We optimize for off page. What about the traffic and the users and the signals? That's the true metric, in my humble opinion, what really moves the needle, from what, in my opinion.
All right, guys, traffic. Be sure to drive traffic to your web pages. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and tell the story of how you and your wife actually started. And you said, I guess it's an old friend of yours, started your agency, your SEO agency.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. My wife has zero idea. I mean, she's my best friend, obviously. She doesn't really involve in my personal business, but she is my best friend and manages my books, right? Of course. But aside from that, so it started, like I mentioned before, with the timeshares and my own, just banging my head on the wall, doing Fiverr, Upwork, offering services on Black Hat World, whatever I could get, And to me, it was like, there has to be a better way. And then I just, I'm on YouTube just like everyone else learning, and I'm seeing these guys like, I'm thinking to myself, if these guys are running agencies and they're here, there must be opportunity, right? Yeah. So really, it went from doing Fiverr and Upwork and just whatever I could get my hands on, and then just slowly but surely taking in clients myself instead of doing low ticket here, being able to cherry pick the clients that I want and they come to me. So that's really how it started. It went from doing low ticket services to get my foot in the door so I could pitch them on the SEO to doing my own and really being able to choose, hey, I only want businesses that have been in business for 10 years. You just don't know SEO. Like I'm looking for guys that are in position and need a pro to push them over the edge. That's what I look for.
Love it. Love it. So you filter out your clients that way. So I'm curious, I've never actually spoke to anyone that actually started on Fiverr and like the business there. How was business on there? Were you getting like gigs like every day? How lucrative was that business for those maybe that want to get started in it?
Fiverr and Black Hat were my two. They were excellent. And where I found success wasn't offering the SEO services. At the time, it was the Instagram. So I was setting up pods and doing followers and likes and like juicing them up. But that was my foot in the door, was offering Instagram service. And I'd be like, if you have Instagram and you have a business here, well, man, your site, it needs an audit. And then you get the audit, and here's what you need, and here's how I can help you. So my foot, and I tried all the other stuff too, but that was the one that did it. And it was like, I showed a couple of them, I had two separate accounts, but I had 723 orders in the span of 2.5 years.
Wow.
And it was that's just Fiverr. It was absolutely insane. It was great. It was great for a while.
Well, I mean, I'm actually curious. Like, I mean, I've never met anyone that knows how to like increase like, someone's followers and all that engagement stuff. When you said pods, so what goes behind all this? Like, what's behind the scenes on stuff like that?
Yeah, well, a lot has changed. That's why I got away from the Instagram. But at the time, there was a tool that became very friendly with a gentleman on Black Hat World called Insta Auto. Insta Auto had a much better framework than all the other bots, and you were able to load up 1,000 accounts. And it was unlike all the others where you could get 20 or 30 and it would be slow on the server. This thing could run 1,000, 10,000. Basically, just follow, unfollow. The big one was the comments, because then I switched it into affiliate. We were putting comments in, and you send out 100 comments, 2 of them will click, and then I get $2 per email, right? But now times that by 20,000 accounts. You get what I mean? But you can't do it anymore, so it's almost useless to teach you on it.
Okay, all right. So I mean, okay, let's take this, let's guide us through now. I mean, so now you move from Fiverr and now you have your own clients. So if someone goes to you, like, what is the Chris Palmer framework? Like, what is, like, when someone hires you, like, what's the first to last thing that you get doing, and like you're maintaining like one client?
Yep. So for me now, it's I want to get them on the phone. I want to see where they're at in the process, because once I can get them into the process, and I want to talk to them first. Can I communicate with you? I want to be transparent. I want to talk to them and see where they're at in the process, so I can determine what the cost is going to be. And then during that conversation, I'm seeing where they are at with their budget, because if I see where they're at and I know how much it's going to cost to get there, and they're talking about $500 a month, then you know, there's no room. So the process for me is get them on the phone, see where they're at, see where they need to go, and then determining and being very transparent with a plan to get there. Here's the cost, here's how long it's going to take, this is what we're going to do. Like literally, here's what I'm going to do, you know.
Got it. Okay. So, okay. So like there's not a set template or anything like that that you go through, like, okay, we're going to do this first, do this.
Now I know that that's, you know, against the you know, the rules or whatnot, but for me, there's not a set template. It's where are you at? What's your cost? You know, what's the cost to me and plus my time? What's it going to be to help you? I don't have a set price. Like you go to a site and there's 3 different categories. This is 1,500 and you get 5 pages. No. It's what do you need? Here's what it's going to cost. Yes or no.
Love it.
You know,
love it. Okay.
I'm more on a personal. It's just me and my best friend Eric. We take care of things, and now I got a new VA. I'm not like a 20 guy show or anything.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, okay, love that. I mean, okay. So we go into. I want to talk a little bit more about your community. You have a large following on YouTube. You have you have a large following on your Facebook group with all these SEOs. I see people a lot of them asking questions. So like, how does someone like build something like that? Like say like if I wanted to do that, I want to get to 10,000 subscribers. I want to be like Chris. Like what can I do to help my show get big?
I knew watching the other guys, Neil and Brian Dean, Income School, and all these guys, I couldn't beat them on quality, but I could beat them on work. If you want to grow, you need to be able to outwork the next guy. So when these guys are doing 3 or 4, I knew that for me to break through, I had to double. You know, so if you want to break out, you need to pick your lane, stay in your lane, and just start pumping out content. You know, because
No.
You know,
that's some knowledge right there. You're dropping some knowledge right there, Chris. That's so true. I mean, you have to just outwork the other person, right? We got a question that came in here. It goes, can you recommend some book or course about Black Hat SEO?
So Black Hat, true Black Hat, you know, you're not going to see anything out in the wilderness on this. If somebody has something that's making them money, they're not going to sell a course, especially Black Hat. So I don't know any resources. You might be able to pick up little pieces from people and then figure it out for yourself. But I don't know of any trainings that are truly going to show you how they're making their money. You get what I mean? Because that's really what you're asking. So no, I don't. I'm sorry.
I mean, so right now, because you mentioned that the first course that you put out was the the entity stack on IMG, and I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you probably had it in your group as well. But so, are there any other courses that you have in particularly putting out or have out right now?
Well, I have I wanted to switch the model. I wanted to just do very small mini pieces because I noticed they sell the best, people that it helps the most, and I could keep the cost low, right? So I have a plan of multiple, more like an enterprise CTR, how to do the cloud, bulk indexing. I want to showcase that. I have a lot of them planned. A new drive stack training, more backlinks. Currently, drive stacks, CTR bulk method, CTR how to use the emulator to get your foot in the door, and then backlinks, 800 links. Here's 800 of them.
Got it. And then where can people find this? We'll be finding it on your website, chrispalmer.com, or see your new website you just launched, or
yeah. So you could find it at seo.chrspLMR.com.
There you go.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, we got
I usually don't. I never did. I don't ever pitch. I was like, wait.
Oh no. People want to know, like, how Hobby was asking where he can get some of this information, and I know you put out some interesting stuff, some outside of the box thinking, and whether it's Black Hat or not, I know you do it. So I mean, Hobby, Chris Palmer has some great stuff out there, so be sure to check it out when he comes out with them. We got a question here from Roman. Hey Chris, here's a cooling questions. Why on Twitter when I search Chris Palmer, your profile is listed second and Brian Dean is first?
Well, I'm not sure, but that's interesting. I don't know. Who knows? I know there could be one reason why, which I'm not going to share with you at this present moment. However, they were first to market, right? So They were the first ones sitting here, which gave us the blueprint. Oh, if you want to win, you need a tool, you need a blog, and you need to crank out content. Oh, okay, that's what I'm going to do.
Got it. All right, guys. I mean, okay, guys, if you guys please ask your questions in the live chats if you have anything. Ask Chris. So, okay, so let's go here. Let's go on to like my last question I have here. Okay, so when you actually I want to ask a little bit more about your process on like say using Scrapebox, right? Because I mean, this is like an interesting tool. You say it's a Swiss Army knife of Scrapebox. So like, and so is it just good for backlinks? I mean, what else are you using it for? What's that Swiss part where you can use it for other things?
Well, there's three primary things that I'm looking for on it. One of them is going to be finding contact information based on a file of URLs. How many levels deep on this website do you want to go in to find contact details? So this way we can do outreach, right? So that's one thing that I like to use it for. The second element of it is on expireddomains.net. It's insane, right? So I'll use that to skim through to look and see if I can find any domains for whatever the purpose might be. The other main element that I'm looking for is links, and then the comment links, which I really like for maybe indexing or to help index like other properties that have no real authority. So like sending out a blast of comments, they might be useless, but it's really good to get a lot of links out there if I'm trying to index something that's maybe a Web 2 Tier 2 entity, so I'll use it for that. And I really like it, that comment section, for blasting out unstructured citations for my unverified map listings. That's really nice.
Interesting. All right. We got to check that out. All right. So with that said, I want to talk about a little bit more on your, you do a lot of Google My Business. You do a lot of, you're like, when I search local SEO, you are everywhere. You're the local SEO expert that when I see on YouTube whose video I find. If someone that wants to start doing local SEO, what are maybe like 3 things that this person should do for their client, themselves, or anything like that? What are the top 3 things you feel that they should do?
Is this someone that's brand new to it?
Yeah, brand new, or like just say like I'm just a small business and I want to I want to do some local SEO for myself. What are the 3 things you would tell this local business to do to get started?
Well, the first thing, I mean, if you actually want to learn it and do it yourself, I would pick one person. Don't go looking, because everybody has varying information. Find somebody you like, you trust, that knows their stuff. That's the person that you're going to learn. Okay, let me see if I can figure their process, their trainings, whatever. So pick one guy or gal. That's where I'm going to learn from. The second thing is, if you have your main business and your entity, great. Keep that secure. That's your king in the game. But you need another property in order to implement and practice these strategies. You have to practice. That's where I was able to get an advantage, was I was bringing people in and learning, with their budget. So if I had to start back over, I would create these properties to try out what I'm learning, because you don't want to do it on your main property, your main site. The third thing is when you're learning your process and you're in the process, you're going to find that there's stumbling blocks. I'm not going to, there's a trillion of them. Do not be afraid to trade money for time. That was something that stuck me. It'll spin you out for a week trying to learn this one thing, when I could, find somebody that does it on Fiverr or Upwork, pay him the 20. I'll give you double. Let me watch you do it, please. You'll find somebody. So those would be the 3 things. Find somebody, follow them, learn their process. 2, get something to practice on, not your main property. And 3, when you find a stumbling block, trade the money for the time. Don't spend a week trying to learn it.
Love it. Okay. So I have a couple questions. Well, another one from Hobby. Any advice about multilingual SEO best practices?
That's not something that I don't want to. I could come up with something cool for it, but that's not my thing, man. I'm sorry.
You're being honest. That's great. I love that about you, being transparent. And okay, so one thing you actually were talking about that I kind of just picked up on was that you say indexing a lot. Like, what is the value of getting things indexed? I know, like, is for others SEOs, submitting a sitemap and all that stuff is like, wouldn't that be enough to get things indexed? What are you referring to when you're saying indexation?
Right, 100%. So, right, when you have your website, a quality website, it has authority, you have your sitemap, and everything's great, and that's fine. But when we start making or creating other non-quality entities, right? That I'm just going out in the market, I'm just building, right? To generate power for something, right? This is where we'll run into trouble. It's not necessarily the initial indexation, but what you'll find is these types of properties fall out of the forward-facing index, because I think there's two, right? Google knows about it, but it's not in the results. So with that being said, the properties that I'm creating that aren't my main property or tier 1 quality, those are the ones that I have trouble with, where you're always constantly trying to make sure that they're still there and pushing value. So that's what I mean by the indexation.
Love it. Okay. All right, guys, go ahead and ask your questions, because I'm going to go ahead and ask my last question that I asked all my SEO professionals on the show. So be sure to ask it while I ask my last question and while Chris answers it. So Chris, I know you may even mention this a little bit earlier, but if someone wants to get into SEO, become an SEO professional, what would be that one piece of advice for them that you would tell them to do?
They want to become an SEO professional, what, as a freelance, as themselves, or just for their business?
Let's say a freelancer. Let's pick a freelancer. Someone wants to be an SEO.
Okay,
freelancer.
so they want to make money doing it. So I think it's going to be the same, exactly what I said just before. Pick somebody. That's my guy. This is what I'm going to learn. Get stuff to practice on. Go out and buy 5 domains and practice. And 3, don't be afraid to, the same exact thing. Don't be afraid to exchange the money for, hey, I'm stumbling here. Can you walk me through this? I'll pay whatever the cost, Those are my 100.
All right, Chris, I didn't see anything else come in here. If you have anything, Chris, how can someone get a hold of you? What are any upcoming projects that you may have that you want to let my audience know?
Yeah, so primarily what I'm focused on now is going to be the group consulting, 2 different levels of that, group consultancy and coaching and walkthrough. Secondly, I'm going to have a bunch of mini trainings coming out so I can keep the cost low, not the value. And then third, coming out, that's really it, just the group and the consultants. And then, if you are stuck in your process and you want somebody that's fair and transparent and you want to, literally we work together, 570-810-1080. Give me a call.
Love it. All right, Chris, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. If you could hold on for one quick second so I can chat with you right after the show. Hold on real quick. All right. All right, guys, that concludes another episode of the SEO Video Show. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified when we go live. All right, guys, I'll see you next week with my special guest, Joe Priest.
Thank you for watching. Hope you come back next week. Make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss a thing. Hope you learn something new, because the vibe is incredible. From the special SEO professionals, SEO video show. Let's work. Want to see you be an SEO expert. Paul-Andre De Vera helping you step it up. No delay right now. Time to level up. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Woo!